All right, question for you before we get started. Are you open?
Well, I would say that I'm open.
Nice. I'm open. All right,
So very.
welcome to I'm Open. So for anyone not watching, it's just me and Joe right now. Andrew's at Machu Picchu, and
Yeah,
Ryan is asleep. So
holding it down for now.
yeah. So I have a few topics we can go to stall until Brian's here for Tier Talk.
Nice frisbee phrase.
Thanks. Not intentional, but I'll take credit. So I thought we could talk.
In reference to frisbee phrases, I was thinking we could call this section the dump.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's dump some dumps. Oh wait, the first thing I wanted to talk about was by far the most interesting. It was our hypothetical from Matt Stevens of the Empire. And he asked us, hypothetically, if Tampa played a road doubleheader Friday, Saturday at Pittsburgh and Detroit, who would win the Tampa Bay Detroit game? And Ryan and I said Detroit, and you said Tampa Bay. So I want to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah. So I feel like Detroit is so very, very bad that even playing a pretty dookie team like Pittsburgh who wins the okay. No, now I understand. I feel like Tampa Bay is pretty dookie.
Yeah.
But with that said, Detroit is like a whole other level of dookie. Just like, 2018, 2019, and 2020, they're a combined 0-38, which is not very good. The year before that, they were 1-13. The year before that, they were 4-10, which is like a respectable bad. But then you got 2 more years before that of 0-14. And as much as I want to say that, Detroit gets that win in this hypothetical game, I just I'm looking back to 2017 to show me that this team is able to win a game. Like that's not reason enough for me. I honest to God don't know if they can win games. And I would love to say Detroit, and I'd root for Detroit, but I don't know. I mean, a 0 next to a big number for your final record 3 years in a row doesn't really make me feel like next year is the year to win a game.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think the only reason or the main reasons I took Detroit is that obviously I imagine Mac Heck playing, and they looked like a real team when he was there in that one game against Indy. And I don't know, I haven't watched a ton of Tampa Bay because their field is gross and I don't want to go out of my way to watch them, but I haven't seen them look particularly competent at least at that level that I saw it flash from Detroit. So I don't know. It would be a fun game for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That would be, I think, our game of the week.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So my next dump is that we can talk about just the Friday games because I thought they deserved some special attention for how good they all were.
Yeah, what a slate for that Friday. I watched most of the Empire Breeze game, which was, I texted the group chat being like, my God, it's 6-6. And then I was like, oh my God, it's 7-7. Like, this game is great. And then the Empire just like promptly took 3, like all like right in a row, 3 breaks. It was not very good timing, but
Yeah.
it still was a pretty fun game. And I do think that the Breeze looked pretty good. They
Yeah.
were going toe to toe in the first quarter. And they were like half a second from getting off a huck at the end of the first quarter to go up 7-6. They got a turn, and then they tried to pick it up quickly and throw it, but they were just after the buzzer.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, outside of the second quarter, they went toe to toe. And I think there's a way for them to beat the Empire, but it's gotta be like playing them even and then winning like the end of quarter Hail Marys and like getting the sort of like free break that comes with winning the time battle.
Yeah, I definitely agree, which is an interesting way to play, but that's how you got to do it, because I don't think you can bank on the Empire giving you more breaks than they take from you.
Now we got Ryan joining the fold.
Yeah. Welcome. We got an early morning podcast. How you doing?
I'm glad I didn't let you talk me into 7 since Joe starts work at 7.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
So right now we're doing what we're calling the dump, where we stall until you get here.
And now I'm here.
And now you're here. So we were going through Friday's slate, but now that you're here, we can just jump to tier talk since we'll cover these when we get there. So let's do it.
Sounds good.
Here's our tier list once again. All right, so let's dig in. Last week we went like top to bottom. Do you want to go bottom to top this week? Change it up?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So we can start with our bottom tier. We have 4 teams who are still without a win. The Legion lost by 8. The Cannons only lost by 5. The Mechanics lost by 14. And the Spiders lost by 5 to a team on a back-to-back. A very good team on a back-to-back.
So I don't think any of these teams deserve to move up, but we can briefly discuss a hypothetical. Who's the worst?
Oh, and that goes along with the hypothetical Tampa Bay Detroit game.
Yeah, which I might change my answer based on kind of discussions that Joe brought up yesterday.
Yeah, we discussed the hypothetical in the dump a little bit too, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I was really biased on thinking the Cannons were the worst team in the league and didn't really have a lot of information to back it up. It was kind of just like the narrative that big AUDL media pushed. But the Mechanics suck. Joe, what was the stat you said that they haven't won in 3 years, and 5 of the last like 7 years they don't have a win?
0-12, 0-12, 0-14, and then 1-13 before that. Then they had a year that was 4-10, and then they had 2 years before that of 0-14. So yeah, 2017 they had 1 win, and that was their last win.
That's tough.
On top of that, they just lost to Indy by a decent amount.
Yeah.
But Indy is the previous A tier. I know. I was saying they were S tier last week.
Yeah.
Indy's like a B, C border team, I think.
Yeah. Which I think the Nitro have to be now also. I don't know where they go between B and C, but they're bordering. I don't know.
So anyway, we've got 2 votes for Detroit being the worst. I think I honestly think the Cannons are worse this year. I don't know. It's honestly like not even worth discussing. They're both so bad. Like it doesn't matter who's below who.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I would take
Fair.
Detroit. I'm a believer. Let's slide. I feel like Dallas and Oakland are better, and then we
Yeah.
can
They're good
Yeah.
F tiers.
Yeah.
right.
That's F
Okay.
plus.
So now let's jump to C tier, and Pittsburgh played the wind chill, and they were actually up at half. They were up 12-10 or 11-9, something like that.
Mhm.
And then the wind chill just, as you can see, turned it on and won 20-14. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see a reason to move them either way.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
I think that they played well, but I think that they played above what they're going to continue to play in that first half, and the second half is kind of like just who they are. Like they had a solid game. I wouldn't think to move them down, but
Yeah.
they're so not close to B tier for me.
All right. Next we got the Rush, who beat Montreal in a very close game. And the Rush are interesting because we liked them earlier, and then they like shit their pants against the Empire. Which is hard to judge anyone who does that, but I don't know. Right now we have Rush pretty low in C and Montreal pretty high in B, so I feel like something should happen based on that
Yeah,
result.
I think this only proves my point that the Royal are impossible to gauge how good they are. I just don't know if they're low A tier, low C tier, like maybe they're Empire tier. Like I just have no idea. I'll agree to any place that we put them.
I agree, Joe. Like sometimes I look at them and I'm like, wow, like they're great. And then they just lost the Rush. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so tough. I
And
think
like the Rush.
a B is a safe place to put them, but they could be A or C.
Yeah. And like the Rush played pretty well. Like their hug percentage was, they were 9 for 11, but also like their O-line conversion was like just over 50%. And like their D-line conversion was 60%. And I don't know, they like turnovers were like medium. It didn't like, it wasn't a standout game. And like, I don't know, I don't understand Montreal, and it really annoys me.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll just slide him over one. I feel like good job. You won a game. You get to
Yeah.
move over one, and then Montreal definitely above Nitro. I feel like I'll put them there. We'll see what happens with the aviators and all that.
Yeah.
All right, Alley Cats, they shat all over Detroit again for like the fifth
Bring
time
them
this
up,
year.
baby. B tier Cats, baby. B tier Cats.
The Alley Cats, they play normal teams and they look like C tier, and then they play the Mechanics, the worst team in the league, and just like S tier.
I mean, they're 4-2.
Yeah, and
They've
3
had
of
a-
those
All right,
wins are against the Mechanics.
Yeah, I know, but like, good job for them. Next week they play the Union, so they're gonna get shit on. I think the Thunderbirds game will be the big test because that's like a true C team that they'll be playing, and we can see like, whether they're above that or not. But yeah, they're scheduled to close the season's Union, Radicals, Wind Chill, Hustle. They're gonna get fucked.
Which is why I say we bring them up to the B tier. Because we kind of split the difference. They looked at like an F tier team and they looked like an S tier team. And so we just put that right in the middle. We give them solid B tier, and then if they lose out, we drop them because they're not dropping into F tier realistically. I mean, if they lose out, maybe they do, but like we're going to have to drop them back into the C tier again. So let's put
Give
them
them a
up.
little treat.
And then when they start losing a bunch of games to Union and Winchell, then we can punish them later on.
If we move them up to B tier, then we'll probably have better Twitter engagement.
That's what I'm saying. So
okay,
I hear you advocating for A tier now.
All right, I'll move them B. I'll move them
baby.
B. I think they deserve a treat for being 4-2. I don't think they're this good, but maybe
No.
maybe they will be. Who knows? All right, moving on. We have Seattle and Boston down here. Oh, we skipped over Ottawa too. I don't know if any of those teams played. I don't think they did.
I don't think Ottawa played.
No, Ottawa didn't play.
Yeah. Okay. None of those three played, so they can stay right there and see. Nitro is an interesting one. They went 0-2 on the weekend.
Yeah, against the Aviators, they lost.
They're 2-5 now. They're the same record as Seattle.
And they lost to the Growlers, which is unfortunate for our tier.
Yeah, I could see them dropping. Well, here's the thing. We've got where do we have the Nitro right now? The C tier or
the end of B right now?
So we just moved the Alley Cats to the B tier, who are 4-2, and the Nitro are 2-4. And we didn't even want to move the Alley Cats to B tier. So
yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's a solid. Some of us. I think that's a solid drop from B to C, and we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But they're 2-4.
Yeah, they've had a lot of really close games, but you gotta pull out the win at some point.
Yeah, you gotta win some of them.
Lost twice to the Aviators, who we have in that tier too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't even have the Aviators like that highly regarded in B. So
yeah,
oh my god. Also, they were 1 for 9 on Hucks against the Aviators. I mean, that's the Shapiro effect. That's what we've been talking about.
Eating them. All right, we're at the Aviators now. Let's talk about Rookie of the Year. Let's talk about 7-goal performance from Ever Shapiro.
My God.
Let's talk about. I think that's all we have to talk about. But
what's there to talk about? He's the front runner. It's not even close.
The Aviators are 3-3. They're knocking on the door of playoffs. They're gonna need slips from either the Growlers or the Shred. So I don't know how likely it is, but it's possible they sneak into the West playoff race.
Definitely possible.
I could see it happening. They're hot right now. Their defense is looking nice, and honestly, Everest is becoming his own name, his own player. He's just blossoming into a fantastic player who's so fun to watch.
Yeah, looking at this upcoming schedule, I don't see them beating the Summit. I think they get 2 wins out of the Spiders, so that's 2-2 there, and then it's the Shred and the Growlers. Like, they got it. If they want to make the playoffs, they need to beat a team that is above them.
Yeah, I think if they want to make the playoffs, they're gonna have to win both of these games, because I don't know if 3-3 to close the year at 500 will do it, because both of these teams are not gonna just collapse for them.
Yeah. And God, the Summit look good. I can't stop talking about them. They're so good.
Yeah. So like a 4-2 finish, finishing 7-5. I could see one of these teams slipping. Maybe the Growlers. Let's look at the Growlers schedule, because they haven't played the Summit yet.
Growlers have Aviator, Shred, Summit, and then Cascade, Nitro, Oakland.
Okay. Yeah.
Summit's tough. See if the
they would probably have to
back.
lose these 4 games, and then Aviators go 4-2, and that's probably your method for them getting him. But anyway, B seems fair for them at this point.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let me go back to last week's schedule, and look for the Rascals. They played the Union. They played them pretty close. One thing I noticed in the stats was the turnover disparity was very different. Or I guess not turnover disparity, but D-line getting chances disparity.
O-line turnovers. It looks
Yeah.
like the Union only turned it over 5 times at O-line. Wow.
And the Rascals turned it over 13. So, I mean, like, credit to them for getting the stops when the Union got turnovers, but this game was probably not as close as the score indicates.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Union are undefeated, so like props to the Rascals for making the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think this speaks to both teams. I mean, I think the Union are good, and this game made me think that they were very good. And I thought the Rascals were solid, and now I think they're very solid.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Do we start talking about where they are on the tiers?
The Rascals?
Well, I don't know about the Rascals moving up or down, but I think there's an obvious switch, and that's the Shred and the Union.
Yeah. So yeah, we finished B because Philly didn't play. I move Rascals to the top of B because that seems fair.
That's
They didn't win. You can't move up with a loss.
Yeah, let's hop into A and let's just go, right to the Union. The Union are undefeated. They're 4-0 now, sitting atop the Central, which has some good teams in it, including the Alley Cats. So
B-tier Cats, baby.
Yeah, Union definitely deserve S. Shred.
Yeah.
We'll talk about their game, but they got dunked on.
Yeah, I mean, the Shred's 2 losses are both to the Summit. So, if you ignore that, they're 4-0, but I don't think you can.
Yeah, when you're talking S versus A, you can't.
Yeah, I'd love to see the the Shred Growlers games coming up.
Right.
Because I think the Shred are a better team, but I guess I don't really know yet. But I think the Summit are clearly a tier better than them.
Yeah.
But I am kind of sad that our A tier doesn't spell bum anymore, like that one person said on Twitter.
Sucks. Yeah, I think other A thoughts. Like we said, we wanted the Growlers to lose because they didn't play for so long that we were mad at them and we wanted to demote them. But they won a close game versus the Nitro, which is good enough to stay there. So we're watching you, Growlers, but you can stay there.
I feel like I don't see a lot of difference between the Rascals and the Growlers right now. So I think the Growlers are on watch out phase right now.
Yeah, I think the Growlers need to play more games. We talked about this 3 weeks ago, and since then, I feel like they haven't played a bunch. But I think looking at our tier list, I think there's a solid line between Empire S and A and BCF, where I look at the A tier teams and the S tier teams, and I'm like, okay, these teams are solid. If you threw them any matchup in A or S, I expect it to be a close game, and I don't feel comfortable with one team dominating the other. Versus if you take any S or A tier team versus a B, C, and F, I'm like, these teams are gonna win. I think in the future, maybe we see bum in the S tier. Maybe, I don't know. It's gonna be tough to put that many teams in the S tier, but I think Breeze is on the rise. I think Windchill's on the rise.
I was gonna say, can we move the Breeze up in the A tier, just further towards the top of it?
I did want to talk about the Breeze because I think honestly they're an S tier team. It's similar to the Shred where I think they're also 4-2, and their 2 losses are they're 3-2, and their 2 losses are to the Empire. And the Empire are just so good. So it kind of sucks for the Breeze. Yeah. for the Breeze should be at the top, and we're kind of just, I guess, waiting for them to have, a quality win
Just-
that we can be like, all
yeah,
right, let's move them up.
just show us something. Just
Yeah.
please, I
Yeah,
want to move you up so bad.
I
They like
think if
really
they
spank
Donk
the
on the
rush or
rush.
something.
Yeah, donk on the rush, and that's it for me. I'm good with it.
we'll talk about it next week because I see them donking on the rush. But if they can beat Phoenix, and then if they beat Phoenix back to back, like that's clear S tier.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no game here that they should lose if they're
Yeah.
truly S tier.
I can
Yeah.
see them going into S tier in 2 to 3 weeks and just staying there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but I mean, both their losses to the Empire are relatively close. This one, I think, was 25-21. Shout out Sam for that prediction.
Oh, thanks.
And then the other one was a 3-point loss. So, I mean, if maybe there's an injury in the playoffs, and the Empire are left with only one starter from their O-line, then I think DC might be the better team.
Yeah, it's tough in that division because they're so good, but the Empire are there to make them look bad. I mentioned in our group chat that the Hustle failed to beat the spread twice against the Cannons.
Yeah.
And I said that's demotion behavior, but I don't know if that's fair, but I just wanted to criticize them on the pod.
I think they're in the same boat as the Growlers right now. Watch out. Even though you're 4-1 and probably pretty solid, watch out.
And then Ryan, you mentioned the Wind Chill as a possible future S team. Definitely agree with you there. They had a close first half, but then they just dominated the Thunderbirds.
Yeah. And Frisbee games go up and down, but a 6-point win is a 6-point win. Like,
right. All right. The Soul, did they even play? I don't think
did
they
not
played.
play.
The Shred
Carolina
lost
and
really
Dallas.
bad.
Carolina and Dallas played, which we didn't talk about.
Oh yeah, Carolina had a comfortable win.
Oh yeah, I didn't read into that. You're talking about an S tier team dunking on an F tier team.
Yeah,
it happens. So Empire, did they beat the Breeze?
Yeah, they beat the Breeze.
Yeah.
So we don't really need to talk about them. They're at the very top and they're going to stay there. But I think the last team we should touch on is our beloved Colorado Summit, who just beat the shit out of the Shred.
Yeah.
They had all their Colorado guys back, and they're just like a different team. Like I tuned in for a point or two, and I watched Atkins just like dunk on people, and I was like, okay, yeah, because he was doing that at college nationals, so now he's going to do it for the Summit. Yeah, they just really separated themselves from the Shred with that game.
Yeah, my takeaway is both teams, but specifically the Summit, are just elite throwers. The highlights were up on Twitter or YouTube, links on Twitter, but one storyline that I liked was, I think early in the game, Atkins kind of dunked on someone and he did the like hand down, like you're sure, blah, blah, blah. And then that just kept going throughout the game. And as a Summit fan, it was really fun to see when the Shred would do it, but they were down 5 goals. And it's like, good job. Like, you scored a point, but look at the scoreboard, buddy. So that was fun. Highly recommend the highlights just if you want to see some great ultimate. I mean, they were hucking it 90 yards on ropes. It was cool.
Yeah, and like earlier I talked about how, I forget which team it was, but they had a great huck percentage because they were 9 for 11, and that was like 81%. But the Summit were 89% on 17 of 19 hucks. Like, that's just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
How do you complete 17 hucks if you're not hucking it like 30 times? That's
It's
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool to see on stats, but you gotta if you're
Yeah.
watching this podcast, like you're someone who likes watching highlights, go find the highlights of this game.
Did you
Mhm.
guys see the celly where the guy like put his arm up, he flipped the disc up and caught it, and then
Okay.
just slammed it down on his
Yeah.
leg? That was so cool.
I think that's Seth Ferris, who great guy by the way. I saw that and I watched it like 4 times, and I was like, it was so clean.
It was
so
the
clean.
coolest celly I've
Mhm.
seen in like so
Yeah, I
long.
think it's
I could not stop watching
Ferris.
it.
Seth Ferris.
He's down here. He just had the one
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. That babe,
Oh.
but if you get that one goal, you got to show out.
That's all you need. It's the
Yeah.
one we're talking about right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, what a game.
Did you guys see Jay Frood, Sky Joel Clutton?
Yes.
So Joel Clutton, the guy who beat me a beer ball, nice guy, but whatever. He's huge, like big guy. And Jay Frood, apparently Joel and Jay have history. So they used to play down in Texas together. I think they played AUDL and club there, so they kind of know each other. So I'm sure there's a group chat somewhere where Texas guys are going off on Joel. But yeah, Jay just, I don't know how, but he just wiggled around Joel and then just rose up in the air to snag it. And it was Jay's an elite player. There's no doubt about it.
Bad man. Yeah,
this
Clutton
Colorado
is
team
listed,
could win it.
Clutton's listed
For
as
sure.
6'5".
And Jay's probably not, what, 6 maybe, 6'1", 6'2".
And he's listed as 6'2", 180. So
That's my size.
Damn.
Clutton
But yeah,
is 6'5",
Joel being
220.
6'5".
I don't think I could sky Joel Clinton.
No, and Joel's a good player. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that.
Do you think they actually measure these players, or they just let them say what their height is?
Probably the latter.
Yeah. Well, then everyone would say they were 6'9".
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great point.
All right. So this early point in the season, who do you think we'll see at championship weekend? Do you think it'll be these 4 from the
How do the
East
playoffs
West?
work?
It's the top 3 from each division, and they play each other, and then the winner of the division playoffs goes to championship weekend. So it'll
Is our
from each
top 4
division.
teams from 4 divisions?
Yeah, we got East, West, South, and Central right here.
I mean, I would love to call it that now. That would be a great prediction from the Ringer, the AUDL squad. Just saying,
Yeah,
this
I think
early
it's a safe
in.
bet.
Yeah,
I would say maybe the wind chill in the Central,
the only thing, like, I think the Union are a really good team, but I think the Alley Cats come out of the Central.
There we go.
the knew it was coming. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I put a hefty wager on the Summit to win it all at plus 1,000. So love to see that pay out.
I like that bet.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and then the South, I want to highlight the Soul. I think they could win a playoff game against the Flyers. And then we're running low on time, so I just wanted to talk about next week. The Soul have the Union and then the Rascals in a away doubleheader. So that's their record's tough because they played so many good teams so far. I think they lost to each of these 2. So this will be like a nice interdivisional test of like, can they knock off the undefeated Union, and then can they beat a really solid AB-ish Rascals team?
Yeah. And they knocked out the Flyers. They gave the Flyers their 1 loss too.
Yeah, the Austin's a very good team, and like looking at this division, they're obviously going to make the playoffs no matter what. So it'll really come down to that. But
wait, you don't think the Legion or the Cannons can fight them?
I don't think so. But taking 2 wins this weekend, going to 5-2, that would be pretty huge.
Yeah,
I think if Tampa Bay was actually allowed to play with Cannons, that would be the only way to make the playoffs.
I don't think so. I don't think they have enough talent on those two teams.
All right. Well, this is our new look week 7 tier list.
Let's go.
I think I like how it looks right now.
I do too.
Yeah.
We could see some movement next week. The Alley Cats, of course, are always a threat to move up. But yeah, right now this is pretty good. I think ALU would be proud of us.
Yeah, and as we always say, if you made it this far in the podcast, let us know. Reach out to us on Twitter. Come join the pod. We might be having some special guests in the next couple of weeks. So look forward to that. Should be fun.
Yeah, let us know if you're open.
Because we're open.
We're open.